Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He is Captain Foley. Season 2 of Prodigy. They investigate, bump into a Transwarp gate.
7. Episode 7. The Fast and the Curious. 10. That's the one.
Indeed. Bump into a Transwarp conduit. It's played like it's not really that impressive, so we assume there are many of them. Nice callbacks to the season 1 where they met the Borg. That flows well. They turn it on. They go through it, as does Voyager. No issue. So, kind of a giant precedent set. What do you think when you saw it, and how do you think it played in the episode?
I like seeing it. I hate that they're just scattered everywhere and everybody can access them now. I mean, I don't hate that. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, really? They aren't in it long, and then they get attacked by something, which they assume is the Borg, which is funny. It's like, it's the Borg! We're in one of their quarters.
It's fair.
Like,
yeah.
It was a good assumption. I thought it was the Borg at first, too.
Yeah,
for
that'd be a nice twist.
Some way. And it could be, as you said when we talked about the episode, that computer on that planet might be Borg related, but there was lack of visual evidence of that. But
yeah, there's the dialogue that was incredibly Borg sounding. So my assumption is maybe the Kazon, to build that, use some Borg harvested computer components from the network, given that it's right there, and just to make it work, because very clever AI. So very Agamis like.
Yeah,
I got both. See, I've got one called Grathar, and there's one on that as well. So many AIs in recent memory.
Yeah. No, it was kind of great that, there's going to be 61 days to get to their destination. That's a long time. 2 months. And this would cut the time down. They didn't say by how much, just a lot. And so I'm glad they did find it because, with the timeline in the universe unraveling and Gwen possibly going to die or phase out of existence, time's of the essence. So I'm glad they found something to help move that along.
Yeah, although Wesley could just beam them there. Yes. No, I loved hearing that the distance now mattered, but then they abandoned it later on as well. Because Voyager's going to Earth, but they slipstream there in like 2 days. And yet at one point they're at sublight. It's like, we're not going to Earth, are you? But no, so I like this gate. It's confusing it's there, because as far as we know, at the end of Voyager, there aren't Transwarp gates just strewn around, because the hub in the Delta Quadrant creates a portal into our thing. It does not need this on the other side. This is a self-contained generator of a Transwarp conduit, or accessor, I should say, of a Transwarp conduit. You can access Transwarp without this. Voyager did, of course, by having a coil, so this allows for accessing the network. But this also implies the network is still operational, because it has to be maintained. Now, the Borg aren't destroyed, so that's kind of fine, but there's assumptions everywhere, right, with this, whatever. But it's odd it's here, it's odd it's not guarded, or even that simple buoy from, like, the cage, or the Going Forever, like, don't maybe go here. Because they obviously know, it's on the star chart, right? They didn't detect it, it was on a chart. They're like, oh, Transwarp's near here. So, I guess it's just a tourist attraction?
It's just
like,
a shortcut.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? It seems like an odd thing.
Yeah.
And the Kazon only can use it. Well, I guess that explains how they're in the Alpha Quadrant, because they've got access to this. Which I guess makes sense. So it's a bit... They treated it a bit too blasé, I guess. Would be fair.
Yeah, it was kind of glazed over a little bit. Just like a Transwarp conduit.
It probably would have been better if they had said Zero, who was connected to the Hive once, had that little prickle at the back of their neck, like Picard had, who sensed Borg tech nearby. Coincidentally nearby, that's fine, it's plot. And then it was a hidden one that was like under a scanning shield or whatever. Versus just, it's over there. It's like, okay. But let's look at design though, Stuart. We've got the Transwarp network seen previously. We've got the hub. Now, these are not the same tech, technically. This is a Delta Quadrant, which is therefore going to be hundreds of years older hub. So it's different. And the individual emitter. And this is an Alpha Quadrant hub. Much larger. Much different. What do you think?
I didn't remember specifically what the hubs look like, so this is great. This visual on the upper left here is very much, yep, that's the exact same, more or less.
Thematically the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different takes on them. I really prefer the hexagonal one, honestly, for the Borg, but
Well, yeah, I think it's fair to say the one on the left, the Prodigy one, feels overbuilt. When the one on the right is the bare minimum because they've had this tech for 300 years and they're just building it to be basic. Now, maybe this is a Federation Kazon whatever built on the left, but they didn't say that, so I'm not going to assume it. And therefore, you could argue it's bigger. But, it's odd, right? It's a bit odd. And it was turned on just by a whatever anti-proton beam. It was really easy. Now, it is Borgy and it's a lot of repeated shapes, but like the one in Voyager, of course, was done in the 90s, where it was a basic physical shape and texture applied, and it still looks pretty cool. I think it feels appropriate. This one is all platey and then texture applied onto plates. Has a lot of just non-detail. And your favourite thing, Stuart, pointing out little tower spire things. You love those.
I do. It's on brick-shaped ships that it bothers me.
Okay. But they're definitely here. So it's very different. It's allowed to be, but it's very different. Now, what intrigued me, though, Stuart, is the interior looks more like Transwarp than the warp looks like warp. I think it is just the warp tunnel. They've just coloured blue. And guess what looks more like Transwarp now? Because that is not like warp at all. Not even 1 iota. What I've done here is the comparative Transwarp. So top is the new Prodigy one. Left is the... And this is an important clarification. The bottom left is the Transwarp coil generated conduit or access to. So the Delta Flyer used a coil to go into the Transwarp network by itself. And on the right is from the Transwarp hub, which is... So there's slightly different versions of it, right? Just saying. One is green, of course, one is blue, which looks like Slipstream because they probably forgot they made Transwarp green, but that's the canon, so green on the left, and then by endgame it was back to blue Slipstream. Thoughts?
I thought it looked pretty similar to what I remembered from Voyager, but I love this comparison now. It's very bright green. But I like that. It actually is very, very visually stunning in the show, so...
It looked better than their warp, because it looked more like real Transwarp.
Yeah, their warp in this show looks very much like just hyperdrive.
With some random boxes at the sides of the tube. Bad choice, guys, bad choice. But no, it's great. Transwarp's great. Like I said, the canon's a bit confused with it, but as I already clarified, there are two versions anyway. You could certainly argue that the Transwarp hub is an older tech that's been there for 500 years, and they build coils for new ships, so it's newer. Not a problem. Or you know... I don't know if they ever say they can generate Transwarp tunnels or if they only access a system, because in every episode up until Endgame, there's none of those, internal structure hexagons which keep it formed. So you'd assume that they would be generating them. Otherwise, you'd need the other ones to stabilize them, which they never had. But they didn't invent them yet, right? So I'm just... Yeah, there's a bit of canon lore to work out there. But you could argue they're different versions of the same tech.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Researching Transwarp, eh?
Yeah. I just wonder how many Transwarp corridors we have scattered around now. So
yes.
It's very convenient. And it seems dangerous to just let them have people access to them. Because if the Borg does come back in a bigger way, I don't know. It was great, though, that they did address the time issue, 61 days, and then it's like, oh, we got a shortcut. That was great. That was great.
And it certainly creates the get out of jail free if I want to include a Transwarp conduit in my films and we wouldn't even blink now.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, guys, this was quite a journey down a corridor. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments section down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon, and join us for lives and edited content that we do all the time. And be sure to hit like. We really appreciate that.
It's free and easy, but if you want to put a few dollars in to help what we do here, and I have done for 10 years, then support us via Patreon, monthly service, or join the channel, also monthly, or you can join our lives, be part of this interactive community, and super chat your thoughts, comments, questions, or just a hello. We love just a hello. It's very nice. Or super thanks on any video, or PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com. Any and all help us do this all the time.
That's right. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
See ya.
Bye, guys.